Hi, this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden, and this is my lab log. So I am dissecting how. It's something that I've been going over for quite a while. I don't have a problem with how. I'm going to say this very, very bluntly. Who, what, where, when, why. That's how. When you do these 5 things, that equals to your how. They integrate. So I am going to dive into this concept of how, and I'm going to tear it apart. While I'm doing this, I'm also going to apply my lecture to my own problem right now because I'm very disorganized, and I'm trying to figure out how to get organized, how to organize all of this material. So it's all coming down to what I want. And what I want, and this is the goal, this is my thesis, what I want is to start building, well, there you go, to organize and build my curriculum. And this is what I am doing is I am literally building and organizing my curriculum. So I'm building a school, Alexandria. It's my life dream is to revive Alexandria. This is something I have always wanted to do. Alexandria, I don't want to get into it. It's basically the ancient University of Alexandria, where the Library of Alexandria was. And my dream in life is, my life work, everything is revive Alexandria. So the first course is done, and it's going to be basically a specialty school. But the specialty school is really everything. But in traditional schools, we're going to teach you all of these subjects. And that's it. It's like, and I love using this analogy. It's equivalent to you are a chef and we're going to do cooking and there's a kitchen and you have all the ingredients in all of the world. So really sit with that for a minute. Traditional school teaches you all the ingredients. That's it. That is it. They teach you all the ingredients. That is it. In Alexandria, they gave you recipes. They taught you which ingredients you need, which ones to combine to make certain soups and dishes. And they taught you all the skills to accumulate and integrate all of the ingredients. That's the difference. And this is my education. So it's literally, it's what I refer to as the science of comprehension. And the science of comprehension is basically equation building. It's what I call pre-math. It's logic and pre-math. And it's ontology. And we're going to call it's this other subject. It's literally the lost subject of Alexandria. And the lost subject of Alexandria is, well, it's the science of education. Yeah, it's the science of education. So you have education, pre-math, logic, ontology. And then when you put those 3 things together, it's the science of comprehension. And you're still studying all the subjects, but you're not studying the subjects to master one subject. You're studying the subjects to integrate them so that you are, basically it's holistic. A lot of people are going to hear this and they're going to be like, oh, it's just holistic. It's holistic. Yeah, it's holistic. Except you're integrating them all and one person is doing all of this. And when you know how to do pre-math logic properly, you can absorb a lot more information faster because you're doing it in the right order of operations. When you do that, your learning rate goes through the roof. And instead of taking in, let me put it to you this way. Traditional schools right now successfully transfer 2% of data from person A to person B. So as a result, it takes 12 plus years, sometimes 20 plus years to transfer said data from person A to person B. But if you have a more efficient learning method, you can transfer 100% of data. And if you're transferring, let's do the math. 2, 4, 6, 8, well, that would be 40%. So watch this. You'll walk away with a degree and have only 40% of the subject. If you took 2 subjects of mastery, you would have 2 40%. But with efficient education, you will walk away with 100% of each subject, and you will do it in literally 12 years. So yeah, it's highly effective when you learn it in the right order of operations. It's called effective education. So this is what I was trained on. This is what, and we saw Da Vinci. This is how you get a Renaissance man. This is how you get a genius. It is learnable. It is 100% learnable. You just need the order of operations. So this is the science of comprehension. So I've got basically my components, and this is literally the variable building. This is putting together, and I'm trying to figure out where. See here, I'm asking the question. So now we're at the where. So I've defined the what. So my question is, where am I going to put this shit? And that's my problem. Where am I going to put it? And I really don't want to put it on Anna Imagination. I really don't want to put it there, because that is where all of my science is. And this is not science. This is my curriculum. Now I have a website, but I don't think it's up yet. I don't think I spelled that right. I did. Yeah. Okay. So let's see if I can't. Yeah. All right. So I don't have this website available yet. It's not up and running. I have it. It's not available. So I got to figure out where to put this curriculum, where it's going to be accessible. And I really don't want to put it on Anna Imagination, but I don't think I have a choice at this point. I could put it in the Healing Garden. Let me go take a look at the Healing Garden. Maybe I'll put it there. I might have to do that. Okay, there it is. It just popped up. All right. You know what? I think I will. I hate doing it. I really, really hate doing it, but I think I don't have a choice. So we've identified, but I think this would be the best place for it. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it on annashealinggarden.org. Why is this thing not obeying me? I'm trying to get the sign on. And it says page not found. Why is it not allowing me to sign in? I do not like obstacles. I get very angry with obstacles, which is why I have it says page not found, which means I've got other problems right now. So I'm very, very upset. So I need to talk to my tech people and get that resolved, because this is not working. So I can't do this. I can't do this at all. Okay. Okay. I still have not solved my solution of where. So this is still my problem, is where. So who, I got that down. It's me. What I am looking at literally what, and for that I am looking at, let me see here. Okay. All right. So on where, that's my problem right there. When is like now. So I have my when figured out. Who, what, where, when, why? Because I have to. I know my why, my purpose. This is the reason why we're doing it. Like, why are we doing this? Because I have all this data scattered all over and I have to have it organized like now because it is out of hand and I've got more information coming. So, now I'm sitting down going, okay, now how am I going to do it? Well, my problem is the where. So we've identified that my problem is the where. If I had the where, I could do it. So my where in this case would be the website for Alexandria. And then I would just go and I would hit post and I would just build the curriculum or the page and that'd be done. I would have it. So because I have this problem with where, I'm now stepping back going, I don't know how to do this. And this is what I mean. How is built of the components who, what, where, when, why. And when one of those components is missing, that's when we step back and we go, I don't know how to do it. Well, because you haven't properly defined all of your components. That's why. You need to define all of your components. And when you integrate all of your components, you know how to do it. And this is where this is what I mean by diagnostics. So problem solving. If I don't have access, my solution is either I have to wait. The problem is I've been waiting for 2 weeks. So I'm kind of done waiting. So I need to just the only thing I have available to me at this point is on imagination, which means I either have 2 choices. I either build it now or which I'm going to just build it now. Or yeah, I either build it now or I wait. And I can't wait because so all right, so I'm going to go ahead and this is literally Alexandria curriculum is what I'm calling this. So, all right. So this, I'm just building the page. I just case it off. I have no choice. So that is all set now. Yeah, I'm very, very angry, frustrated right now. Okay. So when you and this is really a lot of people, you've got your who, what, where, when, why, but you also have the formula. You also have the formula want plus choice plus learn plus solve plus do. And it's the accumulation of who, what, where, yeah, when, why, and those things combined equal how. Okay, that's what I want. Who plus, all right, I know what I need to do now. Okay, so there I have it. All right, so who, what, where, when, why, and all equal how. This is something we are not taught. This is not you. This is absolutely something we are not taught. So there is part of the choice. When people see choice, that's one of the things that they're not certain of. This is it right here. So I have want plus choice, and choice is where you have the who, what, where, when, why, how. And then you have learn and you have solve. So the other part of want is your qualities plus your value plus your purpose, which is your why. Now, the other part of that is also what you love and what gives you joy. So that is also part of your want. And this is what a lot of people are not there. I'm writing out this whole formula here. So you have want, and that consists of two formulas: your qualities plus value plus purpose, and your love and your joy, and also your what do you want? What qualities do you value? Yeah, choose your qualities, do the qualities, become the qualities. So, and then you take your qualities and you put value. Now, value is amazing because you have to choose your value. It's reverse engineer it, and it's really a reverse engineer. And reverse engineering is massive. A lot of people do not know how to do this. Reverse engineering is when you start from it's what I call from the dream down. I reverse engineer everything. Everything. And I do this based off of the tool, the Cartesian coordinate system. This is one of the most primary tools you will be using. It is point of origin. It is everything. Point of origin plus x axis plus y axis. There you go. So that's your Cartesian coordinate system. And when you use point of origin with your x axis and your y axis, you are choosing your destination. The point of origin is your point of choice. So I want you to think about a chain reaction. This is fucking gorgeous. Like, of all the math, of all the physics, of all the world, this is the moment where I'm just like, oh my God, I fucking love Mother Nature. So you have a chain reaction. A chain reaction is actually a story. And we have the ability to purposely, this is the fifth ethic, purposely select the catalyst. So you have a catalyst, and that leads to, well, I'm going to say first generation consequence. And choice is your catalyst. So if you want at y axis, want is your y axis. It is setting your destination or choosing your destiny. That is exactly what the y axis is. It's like, and I really want to drive this home. You are sitting in a ship. You are on your ship and you're going, I'm not happy. I'm not where I want to go in life. Well, have you chosen a destination? No. A lot of people do this where they'll sit on their ship and they will complain that they're not where they want to be, but they haven't chosen a destination. You have to choose your destination. All right, choose your destination. Enter it into the fucking GPS. That is what you are doing is when you choose what you want, you enter it into the GPS. Most people haven't even done that. The next thing that you're going to want to do is choose. And when you choose, you are looking at who, what, where, when, why. And that is what we are doing with this. We are choosing our who, what, where, when, why. After that, we do. Now, this is where a lot of people mess this up. They do it without any education. They just do it. And then they fail. Now, doing it is the trial and error. But if you learn and solve, you're actually doing planning and preparations. So learn plus solve is your preparations and plan. And this is what a lot of people really, really miss. And they skip this is the learning and the solve. So they'll just trial and error. And if you trial and error without preparations and a plan, then you are going to most likely fail. You've heard this. If you choose to plan, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's it right there. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And I really want you to take that into your brain because of all the if then clauses, that one really is it. That is what learn solve is. So people have the want, choose your destination, enter it into the GPS. Where do you want to go in life? Now, this is where a lot of people have interference from fear. They have interference with limitations. They have a visibility problem. And this is where we need to talk about the visibility problem. Because this is it right here. Everybody has. If you struggle with problem solving, you have a visibility problem. This is where everybody really messes up. And because they have a visibility problem, they're not assessing or seeing the situation. They have fear. So the more you go into this, and the best thing I love about this, when I figured out this formula, my fear vanished because I went, oh, I've got the answer. And there's going to be people, and I've talked to people like this. I've already had conversations. The more I give this information to people, the more I watch them go, wow, my fear is gone. Fear of the unknown. So when you know this information, you realize it's fear of the unknown is fear of being uneducated. Fear of the unknown is uneducation. I want you to really put that in your brain. Really, fear of the unknown is a lack of education. So if you lack education, that means you really need to learn and solve. But a lot of people don't do this. And there it's oh my God, this is where I did a lot of why aren't people, and this is how badly our traditional education system has fucked things up, where we are so uneducated that we don't realize we're uneducated. We are so uneducated that we don't realize fear of the unknown is a lack of education. We are so uneducated that we don't even realize the solution to a fear of the unknown and a lack of education is learning. We are so uneducated, we don't even process that learning is the solution. We are so uneducated that we don't even know that fear of the unknown is a lack of education. We are so uneducated that we don't even know that the solution to fear of the unknown is learning. That is how inadequate our educational system is. Like, I cannot emphasize this enough. We are so uneducated that we don't even know that fear of the unknown is a lack of education. That's why it's unknown. And instead of learning, people will just sit down and go, oh, and this is what astounds me is we have the fucking internet. And it's just, it's like, oh. And people who can problem solve have figured this out and they just go in DIY education. And this is why DIY education is so fucking important. This is DIY education. Because if you can DIY education, oh, you're fine. There is nothing that I can't do because I know that I'll either do it, learn it, or find someone who can. Those are my options. You either do it, you know it, you learn it, or you find someone who can. But everyone just sits with do it. Just do it. And they just shut down. And it's like, no, no, you learn it. And if you don't know how to learn it, or if you don't want to learn it, well, then you go learn about who can. And that's where I'm at. Is I know how to. This is what I call triage. It's triage, but it's like it's life triage. It's a problem triage. It's triage your problem or solution. Yeah, situation. Situation triage. I'm going to call it a situation triage. I thrive on situation triage. Situation triage is literally where I just and I it's diagnostics. It's triage. It's like what are my choices? What are my choices? I can do it because I know how, or I can learn how, or I can find others who can do it for me. And a lot of people are like, "Well, I don't have the money to have other people do it for me." And they just don't think they can learn. And there are people who literally cannot learn because they don't know how to learn. So that is another whole thing is I don't know how to learn. Yep, that is big. That is so fucking big. I don't know how to learn. The reason why you don't know how to learn is because you were never taught how to learn. For some reason, in traditional education, it's assumed you can just learn. No. No, there's a right way to learn, and most people do not know how to do it. Plato does nothing but this. This is like a whole year of logic and philosophy is, all right, we're going to teach you how to learn. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine that. Once you know how to learn, oh yeah, you're unstoppable. And this is the other side. This is the I'm going to call it the other side of education. So, really what this is communication and comprehension. Now, what a lot of people do not know is what communication is. In fact, this is interesting. I'll talk to somebody and I'll talk to them about what communication is. And they'll talk about foreign language. And I'm just like, no, no, it's linguistics, which is the foundation of logic, which is the foundation of math. So when you are talking about communication and comprehension, you are talking about linguistics, logic, and math. Linguistics is the science of word definition and evolution. That is what you want. You want entomology. The purpose of words and how words are made. Whole different creature. Linguistics, logic, and math. So the other side of education, and there is learning, there is education, there is teaching. It is the transference of information from point A to point B. And it's the quality of connection. Now we're looking at the 7th, 8th, and 9th, which most teachers do not have. So the quality of connection dependent upon quality of connection. So this is the other side of education. Learning, education, teaching, transference of information from point A to point B, dependent upon the quality of connection. And you have to be open to receive, which is the second ethical stage. It has to be consensual. Big, big deal. Big deal. And now you're getting into authority, power, control. Yeah. And choice. Choice, authority, power, control. Actually, I want to do here. Nope, I need to do it this way. There we go. So choice, which is made up of authority, power, and control. What does it lead to? You choose, and then as a result, authority, power, control. Choice. Nope. Choice is the components of authority, power, control. So authority, power, control, when those three things are combined, you have choice. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's consensual education. And learning is literally the input via logic and story. And this is where a lot of people really mess us up. If there is no story, logic is find variables plus the order of operations plus overview catalyst. Catalyst to consequence. A lot of teachers will just teach consequence and then build up to the catalyst. It won't make any fucking sense. Won't make any fucking sense. So define variables. You have to define the variables. You have to have the right order of operations, and you have to have the catalyst to consequence. And you have to have all this done within a story. Story is composed on foundation plus image plus emotional investment. There we go. Emotional experience. You need the emotional experience, which is your point of view. So you have foundation plus image plus emotional experience. So this is learning. Now, this is where a lot of people get this wrong, is because they will open a book, they will not look at the overview, and they will just start reading. There's no story. They will be doing it in the wrong order. They will be doing it backwards, literally in the wrong order, backwards, and without the right information. I'm going to say that again. Most people, when they learn in the wrong order with missing parts and backwards. They learn in the wrong order, backwards, and with missing parts. All told out of story. We're going to say that again. Most people, when they learn in the wrong order, backwards, and with missing parts, all without story. Yeah. So no, you're not going to learn because that's not how you learn. That's like we're doing this combobulated garbage X, and everyone's going, "Oh my God, I'm terrible at learning." No, they're terrible at teaching. Oh, good God, they're fucking terrible at teaching. It's not you, it's them. Trust me, it's them. And once you know how to learn, and then you start actually applying learning science to you, oh my God, you'll learn. You'll learn like crazy. And this is where a lot of people will blame themselves. Oh, well, I can't learn. I can't do it. You can't learn. Your brain is designed to learn. But you have to know how the brain works. You have to know how the mind works. Guess who knows how the mind works? Not teachers, not psychologists, because neither one of them uses the scientific method. Ever. So ontologists and philosophers know how the mind works. And as a result, well, that's is what they teach for an entire year is how to learn. So once you know how the subconscious mind takes information, completely different game. Absolutely different. That's how you learn. Memory has nothing to do with learning. Experience has everything to do with learning. You have to experience it. You cannot memorize it. Experience is how you learn. You have to experience the lesson. And in order to do that, you need to learn how to learn. Memory has nothing to do with learning. The more you learn ontology and this stuff, the more you're going to look at our modern school and go, what the fuck are they doing? That doesn't make any sense. No wonder why the world is fucked up. And I'm going to go, yep. Yep. They are assaulting, they are using non-consensual education, stripping away our power of choice while assaulting our memory, going, oh yeah, this is learning. Oh, you can't do it? You have a learning disorder. Or you're fucking incompetent. Yeah. When you actually understand what learning is, compliments of Plato, then you'll look at modern society and be like, what the fuck are they doing? The worst of them will boast that they know what they're doing. So, learning is an experience. That's why Plato spent so much time on theater and stage and the arts, is because you're not going anywhere if you don't have the foundation of science and communication, which is art. Art is how you learn. That's how you do it. Science is fucking amazing, but if you don't have story, you're not going to go anywhere. If you don't have communication, your science is going to stay in your head. You don't get to take the science out of your head and go push it anywhere. It's stagnant. There's no momentum to it. So this is how you learn. This is why a lot of people struggle with learning, is because they were never taught how to learn. So how to learn is define variables, order of operation, catalyst to consequence. So let me translate this. Catalyst to consequence means you look at the overview and you see how the overview leads to where you are in your studies, because you are at the very bottom. You are, imagine, see, a lot of people are like, they're at the bottom of Everest and they're looking up at the mountain going, oh my God, how do I climb this? And I go, no, 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 no. Do you ski from the bottom up? No. You got to take the trolley thingy and go all the way to the top, because you start from the top of the mountain down. You have to start at the catalyst. And this is where a lot of people just don't know this. This is the lost subject of Alexandria. This is the top subject. This is where it starts. Learning how to learn is the top subject. So before you can do anything, you need to understand what your options are, because you're choosing a destination. What do you want to learn? Well, what are my options? Well, let's go over this. We're going to show you everything that this is. What this is every subject that you were studying in school was not a subject. You were studying a component for an ingredient. You were studying the ingredient for a recipe. That's what you were doing. And people don't know this. Teachers don't know this. Professionals don't know this. Educators don't know this. Philosophers do. This is why we studied philosophy. Because when you sit down and you study math and you want to be a mathematician, well, good for you. You are studying a component. You want to sit down and you want to study just history? Well, you're studying a component. You're studying a fraction of a fraction. So you don't know what you're studying because you're not studying the big picture. So we're going to take you to the top of the mountain and show you the big picture. You want to study something, you got to start at the top of the mountain. The top of the mountain is this. Welcome to the omniscient point of view, the big picture. This is everything in the world. These subjects, reading, writing, arithmetic, art, science, communication, are supposed to be integrated into a single whole for the purpose of finding our parent catalyst, our parent origin. Who are we? Where are we going? And why are we here? In order to understand this, you need to understand the big picture. We are looking for our story. Now, every choice you make is a component of your story. We live within stories of our stories. And we have our main story arc. We have a fraction of the story. We have a piece of the story. Story has a formula to it, a very beautiful, predictable formula to it. It is what you want, where you want to go, and how you overcome all the obstacles in your way to get from the point of origin to your destination. Do that over and over again, and you've got a story. Those are the chapters of your life. Now, you're at the apex of this mountain, and you can go anywhere you want. Where you want to go and what role you want to take with this is all contingent upon your destination. Now, a lot of people just don't know what they want, which means before you can even sit down and select which subjects, that's going to entirely depend upon your qualities, who you are, what you value, what your purpose is. And if you don't have those defined, well, you're not going anywhere. Because the self-defined, well, you are the story. We are story beings. So before you can go randomly pick and choose whatever subject you want to study, you got to first figure out who you are. And if you don't, well, this is where it can really fuck you up. Because if you are a girl and you want to be a scientist, there's a good chance you are going to have a lot of people tell you no when it's truly who you are. And this is not how our society is raised. It's not how our society cultivates, which is a problem. How our society cultivates is a big, big problem. How, and I'm going to put this here, how our society cultivates. Because there's what our society is doing versus what Mother Nature has given us. Now, my whole shtick is making sure that we are doing what Mother Nature wants, because ultimately that's where we're going to end up. Ultimately, around 35, 45, we have a midlife crisis and we go, oh shit, Mother Nature was right and everybody else was wrong. And then we fix our lives. And because we've been conditioned to do what man wants, to do what society wants, some of us don't make it. Some of us never figure this out. And it's not until you get to 45 that you really start to realize, oh shit, now how do I get back over to Mother Nature? And this is where the system is just fucked up. So right at the beginning, figure out who you are, figure out what you love and what you want. Your choices are only 4: art, communication, science, and integrating any or all of those. Those are your choices. Every one of those represents something else, and we're going to cover that. Your choices are art, which is self-expression. It is literally the exploration and the defined self. If this is where you are, fucking fantastic. Now, which type of art, that's entirely up to you. All of this is up to you, but that's not really relevant at this point. Art is self-expression. It is the defined self. Communication is the transference of data from point A to point B. Are you a person who wants to transfer data? If you are a transference data kind of person, this is where you are. This is where linguistics is, logic and math. Nothing else. Linguistics, logic, math. This is it. That is all we're doing. Math is shorthand. The logic is the comprehension. And the linguistics is the foundation of this process. There's communication. And the next one is science. Are you an explorer? Are you a pioneer? Are you in pursuit of the catalyst or the origin? If you want to pursue the origin, this is where you belong. The other one is, well, the last one is the integration of all. It's the integration of all. And it is education. It is the pursuit of defined knowledge for the sake of advancing mankind. That is your 4 choices. Now, you can have any variation of these 4 choices that you want, but this is it. So when you are sitting here and you are choosing your career, art, communication, science, integration of all, and you can have any combination of any of these at all. The next thing that you need to choose is what role you desire. And the role is going to be foundational. Are you a builder? Engineer? Construction? Or a laborer? This is your foundation. Cultivator. These are the people who teach and heal. Parents. All parents are cultivators. That's not going to be an option. If you decide to be a parent and breed, you are a cultivator. The next one is visionary. These are the people who they are idea generators. And they create blueprints. Create blueprints. The next one is a pioneer. These are your explorers, discoverers, not inventor, discover. Inventor is visionary. Pioneer is discoverer. You figure out these 4, what you desire, what role you desire, and what area. It completely breaks it down. And for reference, I am an integrator of all. I am integration of all. I do all art, communication, and science. And I am a cultivator, visionary, pioneer. That's my combination. I do not do foundational stuff, not at all. So that is how all of that works out. So once you figure all that out, now you're at the top of the mountain. You've got you're looking at all of your subjects. You're going, okay, here I am at the top. Where do I want to go? This is how you decide your life goal. And your life goal really is about what is your purpose? And these are the questions that you're going to ask is, what is your purpose? What do you value? What value do you want for yourself? You have to choose your value. A lot of people do not do this. They do not choose their value. And here's the other thing. Do you want to be passive in life or active? Passive means life happens to you. Without you making choices. That's a whole nother, that's like a whole, wow. I have a whole graph that I've broken down with that aspect on it where it asks, do you want to be passive in life or do you want to be active in life? And here's the other one that I absolutely want to give you is this quote that I was raised with that changed my life was, small minds talk about people. Average minds talk about events. Great minds talk about ideas. This is the time to really sit down and think about these questions. These are the questions. This is all before you even begin to decide which subject do you want to study. Now, if you want to be the integration of all, where you are wanting to take all of the knowledge, you are going to want to study all of the subjects. And that is very possible. You'll need expansive thinking to do that. In fact, you should have expansive thinking regardless. If you're wanting a forte or a specialty, and this is something else that I do, is one of the primary forms. This is non-traditional education. This is non-traditional, but it's based off of Plato's work. It's based on Plato and scientific method. My education is 100% non-traditional, but it's based on Plato and scientific method and Mother Nature. I need to clarify, and Mother Nature. It is what's natural to the human mind. It's literally natural education. I cannot, that is it right there. Natural education and learning. This is so compliant with Mother Nature. It's disgusting. It's beautiful. So, what you get into when you do this is the learning tree. The learning tree works like this. You choose your position or your role, and then you choose your want plus dream plus value plus purpose. And then you choose which areas. And that's it. Then you start with art. You always start with art, and then you go into communication, and then you go into the sciences. And here is why. Art, communication, and science is a pyramid. It is absolutely you're going to do X amount in a certain order. Everyone's going to start at the same place. Music, and then painting, and then dance. Well, music, dance, painting, reading, writing, stage, theater. All of those are mandatory. And it's the foundation of communication. Take those and combine them with communication, and it's the foundation of science. So if you're deciding to go to science, you don't skip. You got to go through it. Scientists receive the most education. Artists receive the least. Communication, when it's done properly, you should not touch communication, linguistics, logic, math, unless and until you go through the arts. People who want to study foreign language, well, that's linguistics, communication, and math. And this is really, and if your incentive is to make money, that's a whole nother creature. You're going to need to know about economics, and you're going to need all of art, all of communication. And from that point, that's when you can start making money. Oh my God, yes. Everyone requires communication, because if you cannot transfer point A to point B, communication, and that's just it. And I'm going to say again, communication ends with physics. Now, personally, you really need physics as well, but you need like preliminary physics. You really need preliminary physics. And the reason why is because the entire human brain, the human mind, the human subconscious behavior is composed of physics. Mental physics is what I refer to it as. So at least getting enough for mental physics. And honestly, that's where I would put it. I would put it so that the curriculum ends with mental physics. So I'm going to put it here, mental physics, and economics is there as well. Economics is actually part of communication. But he is such a communicator. Ironically, he is such a communicator. All right, where did it go? Let's see here. Linguistics, logic, math, economics is right there. There you go. So communication is also economics. 100% is economics and communication are the exact same thing. Yeah. So that is the foundation when you start any education, when you start anything. It's do you want to be an artist, a communicator, or a scientist, or do you want to do all of them? That's really the question we should be asking children at this point. 5 years old. Do you want to be an artist? Do you want to be a communicator? Do you want to be a scientist? Or do you want to be all of those? Or do you want to be any variation? And if you're saying I want to be a communicator, okay, well, you're going to have art and communication. I want to be a scientist. You're going to need art, communication, and science. I want to do all of them. Okay, well, there you go. And I need to clarify that when you get to the end, actually, let's do that, because education is the integration of all. That's really what you're doing. Education is last. If you want education, you're going to have to be art, communication, science, education. That's really what you're doing, is the integration of all. Education, that about everything that's it blew my mind away when I got to this point, because Plato's school ended with astronomy. And after astronomy, it's ontology. And then after ontology, it's education. And I was like, wow. I don't know if it makes sense now, because I'm going, it absolutely makes sense, because you need all of it to understand it. It's a science. Education is an absolute science. Wow. And I'll tell you, I want to sit down and just pull apart the 12 ethical stages. And I'm like, I see patterns. There's these patterns. There's these patterns. And then we go up, we go down, we construct, we deconstruct. It's just us constantly shifting all over the 12 ethics. Beautiful, beautiful is education. So to see it in this light, to really lay it down, now you're standing at the top of Everest, and a lot of people focus on the medium. And this is really where it's backwards, to focus on the medium. And it's such a huge pet peeve with me, because it merely makes no sense to me when people just focus on the medium. And I'm like, and because you're focused on the medium, you're not actually paying attention to what you really are. For instance, I was going through this, and somebody I know is very much a communicator, but we had no idea. And it's not until now I'm looking at it going, oh my God, he's a communicator. He's a linguistic. He is a grammar, like there's grammar Nazi, and then there's him. It's extraordinary, his skills. He's also a linguist. Like I've never seen, he also studied Latin, but he also went to school for economics. And I'm going, wow, that's all communication. And now that I'm looking at it going, wow, he is a solid communicator. And in the way the traditional system is set up, he has no idea. He has no idea what he is, because in the traditional system, he's over there in left field. And in my system, I'm looking at it going, you realize you're a communicator. He values transferring data from point A to point B. He also loves doing mediums where he will translate information. Conflict negotiator. He loves doing conflict negotiation. And now I'm looking at it going, wow, that's a communication skill. Like he can hear people and translate people from point A to point B. He is a communicator. That is what he is. And because our traditional society is the way it is, he has no idea that this is what he is. So he's over here in left field doing this job. And it's like, that's not what you want to do. And it's really fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating to see the science of this when it's broken down like this, because you end up being something that you don't realize you are. When I put this together, I was like, oh my God, I'm a pioneer. I had no idea. I was an adventurer, explorer, pioneer. And when I got to visionary, I was like, wow, I'm starting to feel comfortable with myself now. And it wasn't until after I was mentally healed, after I went through everything. And now I'm sitting here at pioneer, and I'm like, oh my God, this makes so much sense now. I am a pioneer. I've always been a pioneer. This is why research is such a huge passion for me. And I am also an educator where I'm integrating into all. I love to pioneer new method, which is how I found this. I love to translate it for people and provide it to people, which is what this is. I love to create formats and blueprints, which is what I'm doing. This is exactly what this whole video is. So when you understand how you fall into the top of Mount Everest and you're getting ready to plan your route down, it's so effective. Traditional systems, traditional education will have you down at the bottom of Mount Everest, learning all the subjects at the bottom, and that's it. And then you choose your favorite in there. And it's, oh my God. Oh my God. It really makes no sense to me. It's baffling. But in order to even get to where you are, where you're choosing, I want art, I want communicator, I want scientist, I want to be an explorer, I want to be a pioneer. And there's a lot of different ways. This is just the introduction. This is just the overview. There's a lot of different ways you can break down each and every one of these components. I see all the variables. I know all the variables. That's what all my papers are all over here. I got to write down all the variables. So as you break it down, you're standing at the trunk of the tree, but imagine the tree is upside down. So another analogy is, imagine the tree is upside down. And with my system, you start at the trunk, which is art. And you get down, and as it starts to span out, now you're into communication. Now for the sciences, you can go all over the place. Now with what's it called? With the traditional educational system, you're at the end of every branch and you're trying to hoard as much as you can and you're gorging yourself on as much as you can. And it's really, really messed up. And this is an education that starts the non-traditional method, the natural education. It's a method that starts around 2 years old. It really starts around 1 to 2 years old. The minute you are a toddler and you are banging on mom's pots in the kitchen, it has begun. That's when education starts, is when you start banging the pots in the kitchen. Mums, dads, look for it. The minute your child starts banging, they have begun their education. They are in stage 1, first ethical perspective, and they are now musicians. After that comes dancing. And after that comes painting and art. They've already started it. I said it was Mother Nature's way. It doesn't stop after 4 or 5. It keeps going. We interfere with it. And then we implement traditional education on top of it, and it disrupts it. And when that happens, we throw it out and we go a completely different route. And that ends up stopping the growth process. Literally, I have the Coriolis force to prove it. And that's what gets us into black and white polarized thinking, is our growth swinging pendulum has stopped because we've interfered with the process. So what I introduce in Alexandria is what I call natural learning. And it is based off of scientific method and Plato's curriculum from La Academia, which later was used in Alexandria. We're talking some really fucking potent educational shit. It's amazing stuff. So thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.